There's a moment between what happens and what you do. A space so small most people miss it. In that space, your power lives. The power to choose reason over reaction. The power to pause, assess, and lead yourself instead of being led by the emotion of the moment. That's what discipline looks like. That's what strength feels like. Most people don't respond. They react. Instantly. Emotionally. Without thought. Without direction. They let their feelings write the script. And then they wonder why their life is out of order. Why their relationships fracture. Why their focus disappears. But the truth is simple. Reaction is easy. Reason is earned. To choose reason, you need to slow down. You need to challenge your first impulse. You need to recognize that not every feeling deserves a voice. Not every emotion deserves expression. And not every situation deserves your energy. There's a discipline in restraint. A strength in stillness. A freedom in not needing to match the chaos you see. You don't need to match intensity. You need to match integrity. Your values should be louder than your moods. Your mission more stable than your triggers. That's what it means to live with reason. It doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you decide what leads. And feelings don't lead. They follow. Reason steps back. Reason listens first. Reason chooses with intention. It doesn't shout. It doesn't spiral. It doesn't lash out. It waits. It watches. It weighs. Then it moves. And that's what makes it powerful. Because when you choose reason, you stay in control. You stay in alignment. You stay clear. Choosing reason over reaction is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's the understanding that your peace matters more than your pride. That your future matters more than your feelings. That your mission matters more than your mood. And once you start living like that, you don't just protect your energy. You multiply your impact. Reaction is noise. Reason is clarity. Reaction creates regret. Reason builds direction. Every time you pause, every time you breathe, every time you hold your response long enough to choose wisely, you build that muscle. You strengthen your ability to stay grounded in the middle of heat. If this message is bringing you clarity, take a moment to like this episode, share it with someone who needs to hear it, comment what you're choosing to respond to differently, and subscribe to stay locked into this kind of mindset every week. You don't always get to choose what happens, but you always get to choose how you interpret it. That's where reason thrives, in interpretation. In the ability to assign meaning instead of defaulting to meltdown. To slow the narrative down long enough to ask, what's actually true here? What matters now? What's my next best move? Most people skip those questions. They skip the pause. They skip the breath. And in doing so, they skip the chance to lead themselves. But if you want to master life, you can't just master plans. You have to master pauses. Because that's where the shift happens. That's where chaos turns into clarity. You train for it in small moments. A disrespectful comment, an unexpected delay, a missed opportunity. All of them whisper one question: will you react or will you reason? Will you escalate the moment or elevate beyond it? Don't let someone else's emotion become your reaction. Don't let their chaos become your identity. You are not their behavior. You are not your feelings. You are your decisions. And when you start choosing reason, you make those decisions from a deeper place. A place of grounded clarity, not emotional pressure. Every time you choose not to react, you break a cycle. You interrupt an old story. You show yourself that you're no longer bound to default patterns. That is power. That is leadership. That is growth. You don't always feel like staying calm, but you can always train yourself to act from calm. You do it by building the pause into your daily life, by choosing to step back before you speak, to think before you type, to breathe before you break. That's not soft. That's strategy. When you lead with reason, you create margin. Margin in your mind, space between the trigger and the action. And that space gives you access to something most people never find: control, not over others, but over yourself. And that's the only control that truly matters. You want peace? Practice reason. You want power? Practice reason. You want freedom from emotional chaos? Then you have to become someone who doesn't let emotions dictate direction. You feel them, but you don't obey them. You acknowledge them, but you don't submit to them. Reaction demands nothing. It's the path of least resistance. Reason demands discipline. It requires awareness. And that's why so few people choose it. But those who do, they move different. They don't just live, they lead. They don't just speak, they build. They don't just survive the storm, they navigate it with clarity. So next time you feel the heat rise, remember this: reason is a decision, and you're not helpless in it. You are responsible for it. You can walk away, you can step back, you can breathe, you can choose. Every moment gives you that chance. Take it. You will never regret the moments you stayed composed. You will never look back and say, "I wish I had yelled more, panicked more, acted more impulsively." But you will remember the power of the pause, the wisdom of holding back, the strength of choosing clarity when confusion tempted you. The difference between maturity and emotional immaturity is not who feels more, it's who handles more with less reaction. It's who leads their inner world while the outer one crumbles. That doesn't come from inspiration. That comes from repetition, from practice, from deciding again and again, "I choose reason." People will test you. Situations will push you. Triggers will show up without warning. And in those moments, you either regress into reaction or progress into discipline. That choice determines your future more than you know. This is about responsibility, about knowing that your character shows not in comfort but in conflict. And when you learn to respond with reason, you gain the respect of the one person who matters most: yourself. So don't let temporary emotions create permanent damage. Don't let someone's chaos become your compass. Return to your values. Anchor in your vision. Speak only what builds. Do only what aligns. And let the rest pass. This is how you build the inner life of someone unshakable. You don't have to win every argument. You don't have to explain every decision. You don't have to match every energy. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is walk away without losing your center. Reason teaches you when to speak and when silence speaks louder. It teaches you when to act and when stillness holds more strength. It teaches you that not everything is worth your energy, your breath, or your peace. Let people misunderstand you. Let them project. Let them spin their own stories. What matters is that you're not spinning with them. You're rooted. You're locked in. You're building something deeper than reaction. You're becoming someone who responds from vision, not validation. And that shift, it frees you. It frees your time. It frees your focus. It frees your energy. Because you're no longer wasting it trying to control what's not yours. You're leading yourself. And that self-leadership changes everything. The world is noisy, emotional, loud. And in that noise, your calm becomes a signal. Your restraint becomes a statement. Your choice to respond instead of react becomes your signature. And that signature, it leaves a mark. On people, on moments, on your future. So build that clarity, practice that pause, discipline that reaction. Every time you do, you're not just getting stronger, you're getting clearer. You're becoming the person you said you would be. The one who doesn't fold under pressure. The one who doesn't mirror chaos. The one who doesn't need to fight every fire because they've already built peace inside. You have the power to choose your response. And in that power lives your freedom. Use it. Train it. Own it. Choose reason again and again until it becomes who you are, not just what you do. Let others rush. You remain still. Let others spiral. You stay grounded. Let others react. You lead. And in that leadership, you'll find what most never do: clarity, composure, and the kind of power that builds without burning. You're not here to react to everything. You're here to lead through something. And that leadership starts with the hardest battle: yourself. When you own your mind, you own your time. When you lead your emotions, you lead your life. That's not a motivational quote. That's a strategy, one choice at a time. So when the moment comes, and it will, where you're tempted to speak out of anger, to move out of impulse, to respond out of pain, pause, breathe, decide. That's the real work. That's the path of mastery. Because in the end, your ability to choose reason over reaction isn't just about self-control. It's about self-respect. It's about building a life that doesn't burn every time the heat shows up. It's about becoming the kind of person who leads not with noise, but with direction. Stay focused, stay grounded, and always choose reason. That's how you win, by not losing yourself. Each time you choose clarity, you take back your power. Each time you pause, you rewrite the story. Don't underestimate the strength of staying grounded when everything else is trying to pull you off center.